I want to talk about how I was able to quit drinking 2 years ago. I didn't quit drinking by choice. I was too scared to drink any longer. I never had that much of willpower. I thought maybe sharing my story maybe help for those people who feel like they can never quit drinking, right? Because I never thought I was going to be able to quit drinking. I drank for 20 years, at least 3 times a week. And every time I drank until I passed out. The amount of alcohol I drank every time, about a half bottle of whiskey or about 3 to 4 bottles of soju. At one point in my career, I would choose a workplace so I can drink better, more comfortably. Because next morning I will have a hangover. If the workplace is too far away from my house, it will be difficult, right? So if you look at my resume, you'll realize that the addresses of my workplace, previous employers, were not very far from my home. So 2 years ago, I had this job. I was sitting in my office and I was taking pills to cure my hangover, like always. And all of a sudden, I felt like my blood pressure level began skyrocketing. I fell down on the ground. My colleagues called an ambulance. I was sent to an ER. The doctors put me to tests. And I went to another ER actually. So I went through this the same test because the doctors thought that I had some kind of heart disease. So I had to wear this device for 24 hours. It was itchy as hell, but thankfully the doctors couldn't spot any problems. Guess what I did? I continued drinking like before. But I felt a little worried. So what I did was I would eat raw garlic. You know garlic, right? I would eat garlic raw because I was worried about my health. And at that time, my employer, a government organization, offered me a chance to have a tenure contract. So a tenure in a government organization in Korea these days is like the dream for every Korean college grad. And also, I was too old to be hired anywhere else. But guess what I did? I quit the job. I turned down the offer because I realized that I'd never really had any vacation since I graduated from college for 17 years. I worked nonstop. I thought the problem was not really about my drinking or my health. It was the fact that I never had time off. So I decided to take some time off. So I turned down the offer, decided to avoid everyone, to have a perfectly peaceful life. I disappeared from the Facebook. I just wanted to be alone and continue to drink and eat a raw garlic. One day, I remember the date. It was June 30th, 2018. Is there a June 31st? Because I know the next day was July 1st. Anyway, it was June 31st. There was something wrong with my blood pressure. So I called an ambulance again. I wasn't even drinking that night. And I found myself in an ER, a different one this time. And what I saw changed my life forever. I saw some men. They looked a little older than me, possibly in their 50s, according to what I heard from the conversations between them and the nurses. Apparently, they were drinking while experiencing the same symptoms that I had. So basically, they were drinking while feeling like they were risking their lives. That made me feel like I was looking at my future. I was going to be like these guys. And the nurses looked pretty concerned. I would drink and the blood pressure was out of control. The doctors couldn't find any problems. So I was rightfully scared as hell. And I saw these guys. So next day, I decided, you know what? I'm going to not drink for the first 7 days. Because I remember reading about it. Once you pass that period, things get a little easier, right? And that's exactly what happened to me. Still, right? It was really hard. After week 3 passed, I had these withdrawal symptoms like crazy. So I couldn't sleep. I went outside to walk around. And I was looking for something that could distract me, like some hot girl on the street or something, right? Just something that could distract me. One huge advantage that I had was I wasn't working. So I was able to do whatever, right? Whatever I wanted to do. You see, like the thing with functional alcoholism, like I'm still not sure if this is the right word, but whatever, right? You know what I mean? Is that it's not like alcohol is holding you back from your normal life, right? You even achieve a lot of things, right? And also, when I wasn't working, I would still do something productive, something that had values, right? Like working out or even like learning something, reading news. I stopped doing that. Instead, what I did was I would just do things that's totally fun and had no values. I would just watch some like stupid YouTube videos, right? And also I would go to this yoga place where a lot of beautiful women were there, right? It's not like I bothered anyone, but I was just happy to be there. Yoga also helped me too, right? So what I'm trying to say, you have to be sort of simple-minded. You have to be simple-minded. You cannot have too many expectations on yourself. And you also can't be too hard on yourself, right? But just focus on one goal. That is to last for a week, and then that week becomes a month, right? This is starting to sound like a cliche, but that's exactly what happened to me, right? So after the first month, things became much easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still had a mild headache and all these withdrawal symptoms. I remember one day, I think it was the 7th month, I had this dream about being on my college campus, about to throw a party, and I remember thinking to myself, I cannot drink. I quit drinking. And it is mid-July, so it has been more than 2 years since I quit drinking. Now, I want to talk about what it has been like since I quit drinking. I became very sensitive and more confrontational, which can be a good thing actually. In the past, I would avoid any confrontations, but now I talk about the problem. I don't like this. I don't think I deserve this. Give me an explanation. So stuff like that. You become a control freak a little bit to a certain extent. Now, a good news. First of all, I don't know the brain science, right? I don't know anything about the brain science, but I think the brain works really simple. Since I quit drinking, I noticed that I only think about the things that I can control, and I do not set any unrealistic goals. And I don't think about could-haves, should-haves, those foregone opportunities anymore. Because I think your brain knows that you cannot handle this anymore. Because when you have alcohol to rely on, you can still think about these things and stressing yourself out. And secondly, I don't like this word self-esteem, but I cannot find a better word. So your self-esteem will rise. But I think you will actually feel like your self-esteem has been lowered because you will become more sensitive. But you will definitely feel really good about yourself. Honestly, I still have this mild headache all the time. Honestly, I sometimes at least once every day, right? I miss drinking. I'm not gonna lie. Despite these little difficulties, emotionally and mentally, I feel so much better. I cannot really explain this. You have to quit drinking to know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say you feel like you can achieve anything, but you know that in the past you never felt confident about being able to quit drinking, but you have done so and you have been successfully handling it. You feel so much better about yourself and your mind is always clear. Even when I was making this video, this is my 7th time I think to record this because I was not satisfied with other recordings, right? And I started having an urge for drinking. I still miss it, I'm not gonna lie, but I want to it because the benefits I have gained so much greater. Man, this sounds like a cliche. I'm just being honest and frank. And finally, for guys, your mental health will improve. I'm 43 years old. I feel like at least I'm 10 years younger. Yes, I'm talking about sex. But I'm just saying, I'm not telling you to quit drinking. I'm just telling you what happened to me as I quit drinking, right? You might find this interesting, maybe even helpful. Please subscribe. If you like this video, press that like button. Leave a friendly comment. Thanks for watching.